For the first time since 2006, we'll be seeing Ganondorf in a main series Zelda title. Let's celebrate this month leading up to May by producing 5 Ganondorf videos every Sunday of this month of April. And here is video 4. What's up, my homies? It's Edible Incredible, and today let's rank 5 of the most iconic /badass /epic moments from the Gerudo King of Evil, Ganondorf, while we await his revival in Tears of the Kingdom. And without further ado, here is number 5. After sketching out a plan to take over Hyrule, a young boy in green told the royal family of his plan verbatim. This completely caught Ganon off guard. The next thing he knew, he was locked up above the Arbiter's grounds, fighting for his life. At Ganon's darkest hour, it seemed the gods smiled upon him as he suddenly saw his hand begin to glow. The Triforce of Power chose him. He was shook as his demeanor suddenly shifted to supreme confidence. He took out the blade from his chest that the sages attempted to execute him with. He murdered a couple of the sages and busted out of his confinement. The sages quickly had to resort to sealing him within the Twilight Realm. As his consciousness entered the realm, he felt rather cheerful considering his circumstance. The gods chose me? How amusing. For number 4, I have 2 small moments from the Wind Waker that sorta go hand in hand. First is right after the Helm Rock King grabs Link and brings him to his master, who probably recognizes the boy's clothes. Ganon tilts his head softly, commanding the bird to fling the boy into sea to see if he's good enough to make his way back. Then later, after he watches Link smack around his pet rather easily, he realizes that this might in fact be the hero of time reborn. And upon Link's entrance, he says, "It's been a while, boy. I suppose the least I can do is commend you for your reckless courage." Number 3 is a moment from a game that started it all for our boy. Ocarina of Time depicts a young king of the Gerudo who's hungry for something more than just his home of the desert. In the Wind Waker, he states, "A burning wind punished my lands, searing the world. And when the moon climbed into the dark night, a frigid gale pierced our homes. No matter when it came, the wind carried the same thing, death. But the winds that blew across the green fields of Hyrule brought something other than suffering and ruin. I coveted that wind, I suppose." He sure did covet that bad boy. But in order to do so, he had to pull the oldest trick in the book, the innocent card. You see, when Link and Zelda were going on and on about stopping him, he was focusing on his plan, committing himself to the King of Hyrule. But when he noticed that mysterious forest boy gather the 3 spiritual stones he needed, he decided to keep to the shadows until it was time. He acted as if he was chasing down Zelda, so Link would feel pressured to enter the Temple of Time to quote-unquote protect the Triforce, according to Zelda. But did that ever backfire? As Ganon crept behind Link, he played the Song of Time and placed the 3 spiritual stones, lifting the Master Sword and opening the way into the highly sought-after Sacred Realm. It was the biggest mistake ever made in Zelda history, but it was also the greatest ploy that anyone has ever pulled off. It firmly paved the way for the timeline split that you'll either despise or adore. Next, at number 2, we go back to the Wind Waker with the coolest endgame speech in Zelda. So you make your way past Puppet Ganon and climb your way up the underwater tower to find a man that's patiently waiting, ready as ever to spew his soul to you. Which is quite admirable for a king of evil to turn this battle of the ages into a therapy session. Even after being sealed in the sacred realm and under the sea, he learned to find some compassion in his old dying heart. He simply craved to jump back into the world of Ocarina of Time. Who would blame him? So since I already read most of his speech a couple minutes ago, let's now jump right into number 1. So, Ganondorf finagles his way into the Sacred Realm and lays his paws all over the Triforce, granting him the power to clutch the world in his fist for a long 7 years. Then, that Forest Boy shows up yet again. You traverse your way on up to him just to see he's crafted a giant organ to occupy his time, blasting away at the keys as you gather yourself in preparation for the fight of your life. I remember it as if it was yesterday, staying up late as hell to beat this game, finally conquering him in a tennis match of death, and thinking, oh, I did it. I can finally go to bed. And I thought it was over as the castle slowly crumbled. But little did I know, the battle has just begun. Ganon jumps out of the rubble, genuinely startling me. He breathes heavily, revealing his final gasp. Like Goku, he transcends into something of a legend. A Ganon. This was my first time beating a 3D Zelda. I don't think I had any clue that Ganondorf could transform. I did beat Four Swords Adventures before this, but that wasn't Ganondorf. To sum it up, this game is the founding reason that I got so engrossed in the lore, became so excited for Breath of the Wild. I remember it all hitting me at once, while the credits played, and that theme just cried to my soul. Taking a step back and realizing that I just experienced something that I'll never forget, something that's etched into my very being. The final battle between Link and Ganon is more than just a final boss. It's the birth of something new, the culmination of my childhood nostalgia that came from me wandering around the lands of Hyrule on my older brother's file, wishing I was as courageous as him to face Ganon, wishing I was as talented, wishing I had the knowledge that my younger self lacked, and wishing that I could read and understand the world like my brother could, so I could beat the game myself. Little did I know it would come full circle 10 plus years later, which ironically is sort of what Link had to go through. This moment is what spurred on my passion to create videos, to ramble about my favorite story. I so badly just wanted to talk to somebody about Zelda back then. And once again, little did I know I would meet all of you, which allowed that conversation to spark that I so desperately craved. And well, I'm sitting here writing the end of the script at almost 7 a.m. and voicing the end of the script the next night at almost 6 a.m. I wasn't expecting this to become a lot more sappy and nostalgic, especially for a Ganondorf video. But hey, that came from the heart. And well, until next time, peace, homie.